Hello and welcome back to Besiege, where I have a flying machine. I made a couple of them, one helicopter and one fighter jet. So let's see. I want to... Yeah, this is the one I want very much, because I can demonstrate that my stuff actually works. Here is the Hellofacopter, as I call it. All covered in flying blocks, because that's the only way you can actually lift it from the ground. And just some, I think I have four to steer left and 4 to steer right, sideways, and a couple backwards and a few front. And I just spent so many hours balancing this thing. Getting the balance just right is incredibly hard, and this might not be the best level to actually demonstrate this, because there are some archers here that will just shoot down the flying logs. But hey, we will go with it. And also the stability of this well, all of these planes I have is so delicate that I might actually just screw up. But hey, we will try, and if I need to, I will just slow down the time. And the important thing is to take flight right away. I will actually back away just a little bit. I don't know if you can see it, but actually maneuvering this thing is quite hard. So I want to get this one, and then I'll back away. Back away and try to get this one. It's relatively hard. I think we have lost our ability to make a nice landing, so there you go. It's actually very difficult, and the archers certainly don't help. Just a bit. Oh, okay, I got one of them, but I just never know which one I get. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, one more time. You can see my craft getting riddled with arrows, and if I just lose focus for just a second, I am going to waste. I am very much going to destroy my craft. So I'll try with a bit of slow motion. Don't know if you can see it, but this is actually really hard, and the slow motion actually doesn't really help. Doesn't really help either. Oh my god. It's making impossible to judge how fast my craft is actually moving. But it is making it easier to balance it. And the main difficulty here is, of course, that because all of the flying blocks are like propelling the craft in one single direction. So for example, right now, because I have my craft tilted like this, it's going backwards really fast. And there's also always recoil. There's also always recoil on the craft. So if I go backwards, then if I stop going backwards, if I stop propelling the craft backwards, it will actually recoil and then go forward again, and usually it goes forward way too fast. So flying this thing is actually quite hard, believe it or not. But that's the best I could come up with. So next, I want to select this level, and I have another version of this same design. It's exactly the same with added spikes and added cannons, and there's nothing too special about that. I guess the point is just to demonstrate that I can add more weight and still kind of have enough power to lift it up, and nothing crazy happens. And there's also concerns about the durability of the wings. You can see they are actually hollow to make the craft lighter. Just a few added weights in the back. And here we go. It's a lot heavier. The craft is a lot heavier, which kind of helps. And we can just hover over here and fire. And if nothing else helps, we can do that. Okay, I'll take it for another spin. I don't really know any other level that you could actually really utilize this. So just getting altitude requires me to keep the craft stable for quite a long while, because otherwise the craft is not properly propelled upwards. It's like now it's going backwards, now it's going forwards. So gaining altitude with this much weight on the craft is actually kind of hard. And again, if I let go just for a moment, I will crash. And one thing making it really hard to propel the craft is that the camera doesn't follow you around. I can of course do it manually, but then I'm letting go. Then I would be letting go of the arrow keys, which I'm using to actually rotate the craft or move the craft around. Actually, let's just do a quick... I don't really think it's... I'm just thinking, could I use the mouse to propel the craft? I don't see a way of binding any mouse functions to the craft, so arrow keys it is. Alright, but that's the gunship. Still works with so much weight, but really hard to get it going. And finally, I will just pick one level, maybe this one. doesn't really matter, and I will show you my Harrier craft. It's supposed to be like a fighter jet. It does have a few cannons here and there and some spikes for good measure. I did try to hide those flying blocks a bit, but I didn't want to go all out and try to hide it here, because that adds weight and that means I need more flying blocks, and so on and so forth. Let's take her out for a spin. And this craft I really do want to back up a little bit. I have some wheels back there. And once again, you can see why I called it the Harrier craft. Because just going forward with it, it's it's not really looking like an airplane as such. It kind of is, but then again it kind of isn't. And once again, just flying it around is extremely hard because the camera doesn't follow. So to actually get it going forward fast requires me to tilt the plane so that the all of those flying blocks are working for me in that sense. And you can see it's pretty much impossible to fly if it gets even a tiny bit out of control, or the camera isn't in a good angle. Oh man, crash landing. Let's keep on going. And using this craft you can actually find that there are some invisible walls in the level if I just keep going this way. There we have it. So that's basically it. That's very much it. Just a few cannons there for good measure, but not a lot you can do with just a few cannons. And you can see in the front I actually had to put some flying blocks downwards, because for some reason when I pressed forward, the front of the craft likes to lift up really strongly. And of course, if I had my craft tilted like that way, it will actually all of the flying blocks will work in help me go forward basically. Okay. So there you have it. Not like a massive machine of destruction this time, but I hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless, and maybe you can get some ideas for your own crafts and flying machines. And like I said before, the hardest part is actually balancing this thing, so I can actually show you that, for example, these have very specific speed, flying speed or strength, and I had to mess around with these weights a lot to get it just right. So there you have it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time with some crazy new inventions.